I have one of the NBA's top 50 all-time players, former Golden State Warriors NBA Finals MVP, a Hall of Famer, and Rick Barry. Who better to break down the NBA's wild decision to suspend Draymond Green for Game 3 of the Warriors-Kings series? This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. You could follow Rick Barry on all social media platforms at Rick24Barry. He's also the host of the Rick Barry Show, which you can watch live simply by downloading the Mic'd Up app. Rick, how are you doing, sir? And obviously, your immediate reaction to Draymond Green suspended for Game 3 of the playoff series.
Well, I'm doing great. Just played. I got my Pickleball Connection shirt on, one of the companies I'm with, and actually played in the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships today in the men's 4.5 skill level and 75 plus age, the old farts division, and won the gold medal with my partner Fred Shuey from San Diego. So that was that made it a good day, and so I didn't get to watch the Warriors live last night because I played pickleball yesterday and all the way until 8 o'clock at night. And then by the time I ate dinner and the game hadn't even started because I'm on the freaking East Coast. And so I didn't get to watch the game, and then I had to get up early to play pickleball all day today. Then I saw the results, obviously was not happy with that. When I saw the results the other day, they could have won that game, okay? Game 2, okay?
Both games, yeah.
Well, especially Game 2, okay? Game 1, I mean, they could definitely. I mean, Game 2 is one they let slip away. That was one because Sacramento didn't shoot the ball that well, didn't play anywhere near as well as they played in the first game. The Warriors' defense was better, but their offense was not. Okay, so that was a big negative. So I finally go, then I hear about the Draymond Green today. The Draymond Green suspension. I'm hearing about this, and so I said, "What? Suspension?" And because I hadn't seen it, so I go back and I look and I see the video. Now I've watched a lot of video. I pride myself in being able to analyze stuff on television and watching videos and seeing things. That was not egregious. That was not some violent thing that happened. He got tied up. Sabonis grabbed him. He was tripping. I mean, that's the most ridiculous suspension I think I've ever seen. I'm serious. I'm dead serious about this. It's so unfair, so bullshit. Because of the fact that they're going to say, well, because of his past, what the hell does your past have to do? It's about what he just did then. The past should have no bearing whatsoever on it. I mean, just let the evidence that's right there was perfectly obvious. This was not egregious. He got penalized, for what he did at that point. Even then, I don't think it should have been. And so now to compound it by suspending him? Shit, they already screwed the Warriors out of one championship by suspending him years ago for that incident with LeBron James. And, I mean, I've said that many times. LeBron should have been given a technical foul for what he did to Draymond, and that never would have happened for Draymond to do what he did to wind up getting suspended. So I'm a little fed up with this situation that for some reason he's treated differently than maybe other guys are. And then when I hear that statement, based upon his past everything, I was just talking to my son, Canyon, who's getting ready to go over and play in the 3x3 tournament over in Japan. And I said, son, that's ridiculous. That makes no difference what he's done in the freaking past. You get judged on what you do now. What he did in this situation does not require that severe a penalty. And I'm upset about it, to be perfectly honest, because the Warriors' chances of winning are still extremely difficult. It's still rare because, I try to be the optimist. They lost 2 games, never been in this situation before. But what happened is it was what's supposed to happen in playoffs. Your home team's supposed to win, right? Well, the Warriors still have a chance to pull it off by what? By winning all of their home games and finding one way to win one of the 4 games there, which means you only have to play 25% success on the road, and you can win every series. But it's demanding that you win every game at home, so it makes it really hard. And they let that one slip away. So now the task is really monumental.
Mm-hmm.
But with Draymond being suspended, it just makes it even that much more difficult for them to be able to possibly pull it off because this game becomes even more critical than it was. I mean, but it's still a critical game. They have to win this game, I think. Okay.
Right.
But without him, it just makes it that much more difficult. Now, maybe, just maybe, somebody's going to get that extra time to play and do something. Maybe a Kuminga's going to go and he can go off and do something special. Maybe Moody will get a chance to come in and knock down a bunch of threes or whatever. Somebody else has got to step up to get it done, and you have to have Steph and Clay playing at an extremely high level as well as Poole. So they're going to need everything going well for them in this game to have a chance to pull this off. Is it impossible? No. More difficult? Definitely.
Totally with you. I did a show last night when I first learned. It was just an immediate reaction show, and I was puzzled and frustrated that Joe Dumars, of all people, was the one who handed down the suspension, given he was part of the Bad Boys Pistons, who did far worse things than anything Draymond Green's ever done. But then I learned after that show that, and I didn't know this until I was talking to a Warriors insider of mine who informed me that Draymond and Joe Dumars' son are almost best friends. Maybe they are best friends. They grew up playing AAU together, and he looked to Joe Dumars almost like a Godfather role, as a mentor, almost like a father. And Joe Dumars is the one who introduced Draymond to Ben Wallace of the Pistons. That's why Draymond had that afro when he was young, emulating Ben Wallace. And when I heard that, and then you couple that with the fact that Adam Silver was in the crowd, and maybe it had to do with the fact that Draymond, it was his antics, not so much with Sabonis, but more so afterwards, where he was engaging back and forth with the crowd. And the fact that Adam Silver was there, coupled with the fact that Joe Dumars, his history, his relationship with Draymond Green, it made me think, and I'm going to make the assumption that this was more of an Adam Silver decision than a Joe Dumars decision. What do you think about that? Your thoughts?
I don't give a shit whose decision it was.
Fair.
It's a horseshit decision. And I respect, I speak of so highly, and I respect Adam Silver tremendously. This is flat out wrong.
Yeah.
This is wrong. This was not an egregious, violent thing that he did to get a suspension for a game. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, what? Because he was waving to the crowd and doing stuff? Come on. You're in the playoffs. You played the entire season to get to this point to do it. And you're going to have this be the fact that he gets the suspension? I mean, insane. It shouldn't even been the kind of foul that was called.
It's insane. I always, when I judge in any situation, I'm always looking at the cause and effect. The effect was Draymond stepping on Sabonis because he had one leg wrapped up, but the cause of that was Sabonis's antics. And I feel like Sabonis got away scot-free. Did you know, I learned today, Rick, this is crazy, that the Kings, and this is another factor that might have influenced the decision to suspend Draymond, was that after the game, the Kings were leaking to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN that they were conducting x-rays on Sabonis's chest and torso area.
Oh, bullshit. There's no
exactly.
way. I mean, he was tripping. He was almost falling. I mean, it's like I'd watch replays for years and years as my job as a broadcaster and looking at stuff, and I can see some things. And when I heard all about this, oh my God, I got to wait to see what this is. I mean, to be honest with you, I was flabbergasted when I saw it. I said, they suspended him over that?
It's crazy.
My God. That's just so wrong on so many freaking levels. It just really is. I mean, here's the point, because you put your heart, body, and soul into getting to this point of the season to get into the playoffs, right? And to get into the playoffs and have it be so, and because every game is a critical game, and to have something of that nature happen, which was a fluky kind of a thing, and they got entangled or whatever, there was nothing about that at all in my mind, and maybe I'm going, blind or something.
No,
I don't
you're
think
fine.
so.
Nope,
I mean, it was. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I said, they suspended him over that? Please, that's just so wrong, so wrong.
Preach, Rick. I'm wholeheartedly agreeing with you. No, you're no.
And I don't usually take a position like this here, and it's not because I'm a Warrior, and I am. I want the Warriors to win. There's no question. But to say I'm biased in this situation, no. Am I biased towards the Warriors? Look at it, yes. But I'm also one of the most honest people you know. In fact, my wife always, said, honey, you're the most honest person I've ever met in my life, but you're brutally honest, okay? You got to get the brutality out of your honesty. I am telling you this, but I'm using my brutality honest. This was bullshit. It was not the thing that should have been done. And I'm taking that stand, and it has nothing to do. I would have said the same thing if it was Kevin Durant. I would have said the same thing if it was Booker. I would have said the same thing if it was Morant. I would have said the same thing for any player in the league. If the same thing happened, he never gets suspended.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the fact that it's happened twice now in the postseason, and for what he's done, I mean, no one's gotten hurt over it. No, I mean, it's incredible. And I brought up the X-ray thing because it turns out medical professionals today were coming out saying they don't conduct X-rays for chest bruises. They might do MRIs, but an X-ray wouldn't reveal a damn thing. So the point is the Kings were leaking this information basically to try and get Draymond suspended. Congrats, your ploy worked. I got to give
very disappointed. You know, I mean, it's probably one of the few times I've agreed with Stephen A. Smith who was disappointed in him too.
I am with you, Rick. No, I myself and everyone listening right now, I'm sure loves your opinions on this, and your insights. I got to give some love real quick.
Oh no, hold on.
Yes, sir.
Trust me, there'll be a lot of people who will not like my opinion. Let's just get that
but
straight,
there's
okay?
haters everywhere,
And
right?
you know what? I don't care.
Exactly.
Because I don't care. If you look at that and you can honestly tell me that you think that was an egregious and just a terrible thing to have done, I mean, and just take a real serious look and get it in slow motion, slow it down even more, and watch what happened. And if you honestly can say that, then I can tell you right now that you don't know what the game of basketball is about and what a violent act is, as opposed to something that was just a fluke thing that transpired, and nothing violent or egregious was done by Draymond Green in that situation. I could not believe. I just couldn't believe it. And I'll say it forever. That's enough, like a broken record now.
No, it's not enough. But we'll get some more of that. I got to give some love to Nissan, and more specifically the Nissan Aria, their all new electric vehicle. And Nissan's most electric player of the week is brought to you by the all new, all electric 2023 Nissan Aria. The player of the week, Steph Curry. Despite these 2 games that they've lost, it has not been his fault. I mean, without Steph, I don't know where the Warriors would be. So I'm going to give that title to him for the week. He's been electric, brilliantly fierce, fiercely elegant. You can go on and on. The 2023 Nissan Aria packs pinned to your seat power and premium intelligence all in one electric vehicle. The all-new, all-electric 2023 Nissan Aria, the electric vehicle for people who love to drive. Shop now at nissanusa.com.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, I got to jump in right away because I got to see that car, because I was a Nissan guy. I did stuff for them when they were Datsun, before they changed their name to Nissan, for the original Datsun 240Z, which is really a cool car. And I had that. And then some genius decided when they made the next model, I guess, it was a stick shift.
Yeah.
He puts a hand grip on the driver's door that prevented you from being able to get my leg and stuff between the door and the steering wheel. And so I wouldn't be able to drive the new model because of the stupid design that they put in to put a handle in. I mean, it was a great car, tons of room for a tall person. And I did see when they got the Nissan, the 240Z, the first one ever. I happened to be visiting my son Canyon playing overseas in Germany. And I went over there and I got to see it before it came over here. And it was really cool to get an opportunity to see them. But I've always liked Nissans. I've had a number of them and all. But the electric, I love electric vehicles. I'm trying to hold off because I'm waiting for hopefully to get that smaller battery with a lot more, distance to travel.
Right.
And so that would be cool. But I'll tell you what, you want to talk about put it to the floorboard? I drove a Tesla one time. My son Drew had one. He said, "Dad, pull over. Turn here." And he said, "Stop." He said, "Okay, put it to the floorboard." Hey, I want to tell you, if you get motion sickness, you will feel G-forces. It's unbelievable how quick those things are and the G-forces that you get from them. But I love the feel and the way that you can get it and you can help to avoid things. I love the electric part of this stuff, but there's so many other elements to it. I could do a whole show just on this.
Well, I guarantee Nissan's going to get that air check, and they're going to hear that, and they're going to love you forever, Rick.
I'm telling you, it's always been a great vehicle and stuff, and I'd be interesting to do it. And because I don't really like the lower cars and all. When you get older and doing stuff, I really do like the electric vehicles, with the SUV kind of stuff, so that you get in and out a lot easier. So that comes with age. I can still get in the low ones, but I prefer not to. Okay.
No, that's fair. That's fair. There, and I'll make sure to let Nissan know. Why don't we hear from Bob Myers real quick? They did a press conference today following the announcement, and Myers talked about some advice that he gave to Draymond Green. They do have a close relationship. Here is Bob Myers.
Bob, how would you characterize that conversation with Draymond, sort of his reaction to this decision? And then separately, what did you think of the incident and how it unfolded?
Draymond's going to probably give you whatever answer he's going to give you. He was more quiet with me. All I said to Draymond was, whatever you have to say, don't say it tonight. That's all I told him. Sometimes he listens to me, sometimes he doesn't. But I'm always one that would tell somebody to sleep on a reaction before. And as far as I know, he hasn't said anything yet, but I'm sure he will. How do I feel about what happened? I feel bad because we lost the game. You know, that's what I feel. These things are big parts of winning and losing, but having been in a lot of situations, just observing as a general manager and playoffs, there's all kinds of things. I mean, I've seen him suspended in a finals game. So this stuff happens, and I'm more focused, Ron, on what can I do. I can't do anything about what happened. And now it's about putting our energy into the game, really.
I love Bob Myers.
Yeah, hey, listen, here's the deal. He can't say anything about what a shitty call it was, okay? I mean, come on. I mean, why would if you're going to do an interview with him, why would I even ask him, what do you think? Of course he thinks it's shit, but he's not going to tell you that.
Well,
come on.
Rick, someone asked me to bring this up on the show about how people don't hear Steve Kerr but Myers doesn't do much press anyways, but at least Steve Kerr go to bat for his players in terms of the officials not making calls when people feel they should. Do you think they don't do that much and Kerr won't do it much because of the fines they would accrue and how much the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, they fine you. You're not supposed to criticize all this other stuff and everything, and which is unfortunate. I mean, because in all the sports, when you watch things and you hear the rules or the final determination that comes down as to what the punishment should be, I've never seen something to suspend a guy in a playoff game for something so almost uneventful.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't something that you look at and say, oh boy, wow. No, I mean, in fact, sometimes I've seen some things that happened and I said, that's all they're doing to him?
Well, Rick, I haven't heard you comment yet on the fact that in Joe Dumars explaining his decision, he did cite Dre's history of unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, yeah, and I stated that. That's ridiculous. Again, that's so unfair in life and everything in our country and stuff. What you do, you go and you went to jail, you did something. If you come out and you rebuild and what you did before.
Right.
Now, do you look at somebody maybe a little bit differently and stuff? But you don't judge them on what happened and what just transpired based upon what happened in his past.
Yes.
What the hell does that have to do with it?
Agreed.
I mean, you're going to punish him because you were a bad boy 5 years ago, son. So you just did something really bad, but because you did it 5 years ago and 3 years ago, I'm going to punish you more severely than I would have if you didn't have done that 3 or 5 years ago. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. And this comment is on the dot from no pun intended from G Dot. Draymond was on probation and didn't even know it. That will affect his future contracts. And just to add to that, for the people that and Rick would love your response to this, for the people that bring up the fact that you get points with traffic tickets. Your past conduct does come back to get you. There's also limits on that. Those points go away. Debt clears after 7 years. It doesn't follow you forever. I know certain serious crimes do, but Dre also didn't commit serious crimes here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, they don't want somebody that's, going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Draymond hasn't done that many things. I mean, like I said, I think the last suspension was bogus as well.
100% same. I 100% agree.
Listen, again, I'm no honest person. If I honestly thought that Draymond Green did something, I said, hey, he got what he deserved. That was bullshit. I was horrible. Can't believe that he did that. And then sometimes I've seen some stuff happen, and I said, that's all they're going to do to this guy? That was horrible. Yeah. I mean, I'm not looking at that and saying, oh, my God, what the hell is he thinking? No, that was it was crazy. He got tangled up and doing stuff, and he was getting tripped. You could just see him doing it. And where is he going to put his foot?
Exactly.
Sabonis' chest was right there. What the hell?
Exactly.
So you got to put your foot down and push off.
Rick, I've been trying to tell people, if you
God.
try to reenact what Draymond was going through, where you're so like, you ask, like, if you're married, ask your wife, if you have a friend in the house, a sibling, ask them to grab your leg, and then you sit there and tell me how easy it is to just control what you do with the other foot. It's almost impossible. You can't.
No,
it is not easy.
It was so obvious. It was so obvious. I've watched stuff so many. It was so freaking obvious. I said, well, I'm going to have to watch this really closely to make it, make the determination. Right. When I saw it, I said, what? That's my first reaction. What? He got suspended over that?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. I got one more ad read here. Rick, just sit tight real fast. And there's a couple questions in the chat I want to get to, not just about the Draymond situation, but Rick, your personal history, given you yourself. On a side note, I still, and I feel like I'm going to have to say this forever because I don't see you getting the recognition you deserve. I feel strongly you are the most underrated player in the history of this game. Anyone who saw you play gets what I'm saying. When we had Chris Mullen on your show, Rick, I've never seen Chris Mullen turn into a fan in my life. He was a fan of yours. You were one of the greatest players this game has ever seen, and people need to know that. I just want to throw that in there real fast. We're going to have a couple questions.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. But like anything in life, it's a matter of personal opinion. So, like they say, you can't please all the people all of the time.
That's
right?
true. That is very true.
It's just never can happen. That's just life in general. And so for those people who appreciated the way I play, I'm grateful for that. All I know is that when Rick Barry put his uniform on, you got everything Rick Barry had to give when I was stepping on that court,
yes,
except for one quarter of one game, which I just got so mad at myself. If I could have kicked myself in the ass, I would have. And but that's it.
Absolutely. Well, for a championship team, and Rick, you were the finals MVP of a championship team for the Golden State Warriors. It was 40 years between your championship and Stephen Curry's championship. That was a dark 4 decades, sir. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. All you have to do is add your car to My Garage and look for the green check to know that the part will fit. And if for some reason that doesn't work, you get your money back, because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Wish the Warriors had their integral part, Draymond Green, for Game 3. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Hey,
yes.
Go. No, I'm serious. Go for it, man. It's really cool. I love the fact they must have been listening to me talk about having confidence. And that's what you want to have. When you bring your car in, you want to have confidence that they're not going to screw things up.
Yes, sir. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. Everydayers, I don't know who we're going to have tomorrow on the show, but Friday night will be for sure, Thursday night, will be for sure our next show when we come on immediately following Game 3 between the Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. You can follow Rick Barry on all social media platforms simply at Rick24Barry. Rick, got a couple questions here I want to get to. Where was it? Victor Gutierrez writes, Rick, who was the dirtiest player you went up against in your playing career?
I don't really know if anybody was super dirty. I do know that Walt Bellamy had a tendency sometimes to stick his knee out in something when you're trying to fight over screens. Is
there anyone today that's dirty that when you're watching the game?
I don't. Well, I would have to say that probably guys that I watched and doing some broadcasting, Bill Laimbeer probably was a dirty player. I mean, if I had to say, if I picked somebody out, because some of the things I've seen him do, not very kosher. No, that's wrong. I mean, that's wrong on so many levels, because this is somebody's profession. They're trying to take care of, if they're married, they got a family, they're trying to take care of them. God knows they got plenty of money to take care of them nowadays with the contracts they have. But, you don't want to jeopardize somebody's future in their profession by doing something like that. And, that's why I mean, a 1-game suspension, you would have to think it's something that would fall into that, little category. But what we saw didn't fall into that category.
Well, I was bitching about this last night, Rick, that Dylan Brooks, who literally broke Gary Payne II's wrist, got the exact same punishment. How is that fair? I do not understand in any regard how this is just. Walter Washington writes that he'll always remember your greatest free throws, the underhanded free throws, and also asks, "Where's your old teammate Clifford Ray?"
Clifford Ray is living north of Orlando. He and I are like brothers. We usually go on a fishing trip, at least one fishing trip a year, to some really cool place, whether we go to to Mexico. A lot of times we've gone up to Alaska to fish together, and we stay in close contact. I'm in Florida half the year, so we try to get together. In fact, we were planning on trying to do that and looking to try to put a trip together with his buddy Bobby Campbell, his teammate from Oklahoma. They get together, and Bobby and all, we go on trips together a lot. So he's doing fine. He had a lot. Well, here's the thing. First of all, he was treated like shit from Doc Rivers, who I'll never forgive for what he did to him. Treated him so poorly. And the Boston Celtics didn't treat him poorly. He got MRSA in the locker room doing there. He's lost some toes off of his foot. He damn near died because of some of the stuff that's happened. And it just really, it just disappoints me tremendously. And it really does make me mad to see him, because he's such a great person. And to be treated the way he's been treated, never being able to sit on the damn bench, always behind the bench as the coach, having guys making more money than he's making when he was one of the most important coaches that Doc Rivers had on his staff. I mean, so anyway, I'm digressing here, I know, but I'm sorry, I have to vent when this stuff comes up, because I love Clifford, and I lost all respect for Doc Rivers. How do you, as a head coach making $5 million a year, you have the lowest paid guy in your staff, who's the guy who helped you to be able to get the guy that helped you win a championship, and Kevin Garnett, because he took their big man and made their big man so much better that they were willing to go and make the trade, Al Jefferson. So, and then to go and take Big Daddy and make him a factor, and to bring PJ Brown in on his suggestion for the playoff run, who helped them tremendously. And then to go ahead and take Perkins and do something here, who all of a sudden become this great expert of the game of basketball. So, I mean, it's really, it's really sad to do that, and that you don't stand up for him to your bosses and say, how do you give him a half a playoff share for playoff money when he's the lowest paid guy on my staff? I mean, I would have walked into Danny Ainge and said, Danny, look, either you pay a full share to Clifford Ray, or I'm going to the media and tell him what a cheap SOB you are. This is not right. And then if that didn't, and if he decided not to go ahead and do it, Danny didn't do it anyway, I would give him the extra money.
And just to give context for people who are unfamiliar, Clifford Ray was your teammate on the 75 championship team, was a fantastic big, and then he's gone on to become a great coach. You and I have advocated for the Warriors.
Well, he also coached with me in the minor leagues when I
that
coached.
Too. There you go. And you and I advocated for Clifford Ray to be hired by the Warriors to coach James Wiseman, and unfortunately that never happened. And you're referring to the 2008 period of the Celtics when they won the championship. He was an assistant on that team, and what, he got paid half of what he was supposed to get paid, or like
playoff? No, he was the lowest paid guy in the staff, and he also only got half a playoff share the 2 years they went to the finals.
That's ridiculous. That's it's just unjust.
Oh yeah, and then in September, tell him that you're not going to rehire him.
Oh. Did they even give a reason, or they just gave him the shaft? And
how in the hell are you going to get a job in September in the NBA?
Yeah, exactly. That's asinine. That's brutal. That's brutal. I'm glad you brought that up. Rick, what do you think the Warriors are going to do tomorrow? I have not looked at the latest injury report, but Nick Fensky here in our chat writes that he's reading that Gary Payne II, Wiggins, and Jordan Poole are all listed as questionable. He also loved your appearance earlier today on the Warriors flagship radio station, 95.7 The Game. Hoping Kuminga shows up big tomorrow. What do you see happening in Game 3, Rick? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, if all those guys are questionable and they don't play, I mean, their chances of winning are pretty damn slim.
Yeah.
I mean, so it would take miraculous performances by players who haven't really gotten as much of an opportunity, whether it be Lamb, whether it be Moody, whether it be whoever it may be, Kuminga, but anything can happen, right? And then Clay and Steph all of a sudden, have out of mind and body games, and they're throwing everything they throw up is going in, and they collectively just bust their hump on defense. The crowd's going to get behind them, but it's going to take almost a miraculous effort on the part of the team to pull off a win against a very good basketball team.
Yeah,
I mean, very good. And congratulations to Mike Brown for getting Coach of the Year, the first unanimous one. Pretty impressive. So yeah, congratulations to them and what they're doing. And they are not playing. Everybody was talking about it, and me included, say, hey, the experience of the Warriors and all. But the Kings players, they're not playing with any first time in the playoff jitters for a lot of these guys. They're having some great games and playing really well. And so that's a tribute to the organization and to Mike and what he's done. He's turned that around. They've always been great fans. They were our fans. Okay. They didn't have a team there. They had the Warriors fans clubs that I went up to many, many times in Sacramento. So they basically were Warriors fans who were such great fans and all that they actually wound up getting their own team. And now they have a team that they can really be proud of. They did have a team before when they screwed up, when they didn't use my son John and got rid of him. I mean, and if he had stayed there, they might have beaten the Lakers in that series. But it's been a long drought for them as well. And it's nice to see them, coming forward again and putting together a really fun basketball team to watch. And to Mike Brown's credit, who's known for his defense, that's why he's there with the Warriors, with the Warriors. He changed. I mean, he put in an offense that takes advantage of the talents that his players have, and he turns them loose and lets them go. And again, fun to watch. They need to get a little bit better, like the Warriors, about the passing, the cutting, moving. They're not quite there with that, but boy, did they push it and let Monk and Fox. They just, I mean, they these guys got carte blanche. They can do whatever the hell they want out there generally, and that's a good thing, really, because they're playing with great confidence. And Sabonis, again, another terrific player, as I mentioned many times when I talk about Sabonis, is his father. I mean, people have no idea how good his father really was because they saw him. He was a shadow of himself when he came over here to play for the Portland Trailblazers after 2 Achilles operations. I got to see him play when I was broadcasting, doing some world games and championships and stuff overseas. Whew, man, you people would have been so impressed. And, I tell you what, probably a great way. This is an analogy that you probably can relate to, everyone. Think of Jokic with athleticism.
That's there you go.
Is that a scary thing? Okay, that's you have Giannis with the crazy athleticism, right? But he doesn't have the Jokic part of his game, right? But think of Jokic with the athleticism, and that was the original. That was Sabonis' day.
That's incredible, and yeah, that's absolutely incredible. It's and it's also incredible, and I've never once thought about that until you brought up this point that Kings fans were once Warriors fans until the old Kansas City franchise moved there, right? And then and they got a team because they saw how passionate those fans were about the Warriors. So they basically came in and stole that entire fan base and became their own. That is interesting. Before we go, questions for you. Well, first, a point I wanted to share, because I'm sure you and I both agree. AC writes, basically the NBA is rewarding players for baiting Draymond, and I totally agree. It sucks that Draymond has to be cognizant of that now. That's just another thing he has to worry about. And then Messi writes, Messi FC writes, Rick, what do you think about Kerr's rotations and his choices? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, again, it's really hard. Even my son, when I just talked to him before I came out on the air with you, my son Canyon, well, it's hard, Dad. I mean, you're not there all the time as the coach. And I said, absolutely. And that's what I say all the time. I mean, far be it from me to determine, who should be in and who should be in. I said, I'm not going to do that to a coach. I don't know. I don't see the guy every day. I don't know what his attitude is. I don't know his super strengths and weaknesses as well as he does, because he sees them on a daily basis. And so, you got to go with your gut feeling on that stuff. And that's what coaching is about. And, obviously I would say that, Steve has made more really good decisions with his personnel and what he's done with this record that the team has had. So, to go ahead and criticize him for something you think is a little bit different and all, hey, they're not right all the time in what they do. The only thing I did say is that when I did do my coaching or when I played, I couldn't stand it. I mean, if I'm going good, what the hell? If the coach were to take me out of the game, I said, what are you, out of your mind? I mean, and so that's the only point that I would say. I would never, ever, ever take a player out who's going strong and going hot. I would just milk him to death, milk him to death. And so, and I've told the story before, one time when I had Darren Hancock, who was played at Kansas and played in the minor leagues and was in the NBA. And he was down at the minor league team with me. Had gotten into some problems with marijuana or whatever back in those days, but a hell of a player, right? He's got 20, or in a playoff game, he's got 26 at the half. We come out in the third quarter, first 5 minutes go. He hasn't even seen the. I call a 20-second timeout, and I said, "Hey guys, come here. I want to introduce you to Darren Hancock. He's your teammate. He had 26 points in the freaking first half. Do you think we could get him the ball?" I mean, what the hell is going on here? I mean, and that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And if a guy's going good, it'd be the same thing. My guy's going good. I would take a 20-second time and say, "Guys, hey, listen." And he hasn't seen it. I said, "Look, he just scored 10 points." I said, "And he hasn't touched the ball the last 3 times down the floor. What are you thinking about?"
Oh man, Rick. Again, you and I do a show together. It's called the Rick Barry Show, and I have this ticker scrolling right down here that says download the Mic'd Up app, because if you download that app, that's where you'll see Rick and I do shows live. Then about a day or two later, the recorded version shows up on all your podcast channels and on YouTube as well. Subscribe to Rick Barry's House on YouTube, please. Otherwise, Rick, anything else you want to promote? People can follow you on social media. Go ahead.
Well, people, if you want to call and do something, if we know we're going to be doing something, you can check out the app, and then it'll tell you the show's going to come up, and you can call in and leave actually voice questions for us that we use on the air.
Yes, sir. Exactly. That's just as the Mic'd Up app. Follow Rick on social media platforms at Rick24Barry. Check out Medusa Leaf, GoSleeves.com. What's the code?
Right. And then AlloMD.com. And for all of those, RB, all small R, small B, 24 is a code to use to get a really nice discount on all 3 of those. GoSleeves.com, MedusaLeaf.com, MEDICILEF.com, and AlloMD.com. Same thing. Just check out all the products that's there. We have a new branded product there that's just awesome on that site. That's called Ultimate Repair X. I've witnessed firsthand. In fact, in my pickleball stuff today, I had a guy, he was playing that I know from the Villages, great pickleball place. His shoulders really screwed up. Oh, man, that's been so hard to do it. So I had some stuff. I said, "Here, let me put some cream on you." So I put the Ultimate Relief stuff on him. He did it. Whenever he plays, he says, "Oh, my God." He said, that was so much better. I said, "Well, yeah, it's not going to cure anything." I said, "But it fights inflammation. It's just an amazing product." And I've seen stuff like that happen on a regular basis. So if you've got those kinds of ailments and stuff, no THC in it, check it out. It's really great. Ultimate Repair X. You can get it on the MedusaLeaf.com site, or also AlloMD site. Check it out. Unbelievable. And then the Go Sleeves, just go to the website and read about the runners. The runners now have discovered this, and they're going nuts over this product. It's really a great product. I never play pickleball without it. In fact, I even wear one of the sleeves on my good knee because it feels so good, and it's helped preventative stuff, and it's got kinesio tape built into it, which is unusual.
Beautiful. I feel like Jordan Poole with his ankle could use some of that Go Sleeve action right now.
Yes. Well, hey, you know what? The same thing when he had his calf doing stuff. I try to get stuff to them, sending stuff over. Never even heard about it. I did it when Draymond Green was healthy, and I'm a little disappointed, honestly.
I don't blame you.
Warriors, especially no, I'm talking about their freaking staff there. I mean, brought product over to do something, never got a reply. Thank you very much. Never saw the guys. Draymond never even heard about it when I saw him at All-Star break. I mean, why would you not want to go ahead and try products and do stuff? I'm not going to send over some bullshit to them over there. I mean, not even a thank you, not even taking a thing to use it. And you've got multi-millions of dollars invested in these guys, and you don't want to try something that can help them? I'm telling you, it's really amazing to me. That's kind of stuff.
Yeah,
really.
That's a fair gripe. And sorry to everyone.
I'm trying to be helpful.
I know.
I'm trying to help the damn players in the team.
I know. And your face and your picture is everywhere in that arena. Heck, your number's retired in the rafters, but you can't send them a package. Apparently, Rick, I'm sorry, man. That's brutal. That's rough. It's just simple manners just are not.
Well, but I also feel badly because I really think it could have helped the guys.
No, I'm with you.
It could have helped them. I mean, it couldn't hurt them at all. Why would you not try anything that can't harm somebody to help get them better?
I wholeheartedly agree. And D asked one more time, what's the product? That's Go Sleeves for the wraps. And Rick, what are the other products again? One more time.
Medusa Leaf, MEDICILEAF.com. It's all cannabinoid products. No THC in it at all. And then AlloMD.com, and you can look for the Ultimate Repair X. And they got a lot of other great aloe-based products that are there. And everybody knows, the benefits of aloe. Hell, that's been around for centuries. So
beautiful. There you go. And for everyone who we did not get to in the chat, I apologize in advance. We agree with you regarding what JJ Redick said.
Well, who else? You got somebody else?
Real quick. JJ Redick was on ESPN today, and he went off about how Stephen Curry's not getting calls in this series. I wholeheartedly agree. Have you noticed that?
Oh my God! Are you talking this series? It happens all the time. It comes to all of a sudden. Where the hell's the playoff new rule book or something? They don't allow the kind of stuff that's taking place in the playoffs to take place. They give that advantage. I've already ranted about this earlier. This is bullshit. I mean, stop it. I mean, the guy is getting manhandled, and that doesn't take any talent or skill to do that. And if they're not going to call it, the guys are going to keep doing it. I feel sorry for Steph. I really do. It's so wrong. I wish that I had the capabilities of doing stuff where I could take it and isolate on him and go down and then do a little piece and everything and show you a video clip of how many times he was, I think, fouled off the ball during the course of a basketball
Never
game.
mind on
It'd
the
be
ball.
crazy.
You're right. He's grabbed left and right.
No, I'm talking about off the
I
ball.
mean, you see all those scratches and claw marks on his arms. It's ridiculous. You're absolutely right, sir. Rick, can't thank you enough. Follow the legend himself at Rick24Berry, and we'll be back at it tomorrow in post game. Rick, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
Well, go Warriors, and if you like to pray, say a little prayer because they can use all the help they could possibly get.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.